My husband paid a stranger $50,000 to make me stop breathing, but he forgot one tiny detail. I was the one who paid the bills, and I knew exactly where every single penny went. James thought he was buying the perfect crime, a clean slate, and a grieving widower act that would win him sympathy and my life insurance. What he actually bought was his own worst nightmare. You are not going to believe how this turns out, so you have to stick around until the very end because the revenge I planned was sweeter than anything money could buy. Olivia Bennet stood in the center of the massive living room of her Chicago penthouse, staring out at the city lights reflected on the dark surface of Lake Michigan. From this height, everything looked peaceful, organized, and under control. That was how Olivia lived her life. She was one of the top real estate moguls in the city, a woman who could walk into a boardroom full of shouting men and silence them with a single look. She built skyscrapers. She negotiated deals worth millions before breakfast. She was unstoppable. But right now, shivering in her cashmere cardigan, she felt smaller than she ever had in her entire life. Behind her, the heavy oak door of the study clicked shut. James was home. James, her husband of 6 years. The man with the easy smile and the warm hands who had swept her off her feet when she was too busy working to notice she was lonely. James, who played golf on Tuesdays and managed his investments, which mostly meant losing Olivia's money in bad crypto schemes, during the rest of the week. Liv. You home, babe? James's voice floated down the hallway, cheerful and light. Olivia felt bile rise in her throat. She forced it down. She had to be perfect. She had to be the actress of a lifetime. She turned around, pasting a tired but loving smile on her face as James walked into the room. He looked handsome as always. He was wearing that navy blue suit she had bought him for his birthday. His hair perfectly styled, a bottle of expensive red wine in his hand. "Hey," she said, her voice steady. "You're late. I thought the meeting with the investors was over at 5. James walked over and kissed her on the cheek. His lips felt cold. It ran long. You know how Dave is, he loves to hear himself talk. But I think they're gonna bite on the new restaurant concept. I really do. He walked to the kitchen island to open the wine. Olivia watched him. She watched the way his hands moved, steady and calm. How could he be so calm? How could a man pour a glass of Pinot Noir for his wife while knowing that he had scheduled her execution for this coming weekend? Olivia knew because she had found the phone. It had been an accident, really. 2 days ago, Olivia had come home in the middle of the day to grab a file she'd forgotten. She walked into James's home office, looking for a pen, and knocked a stack of magazines off his desk. When she bent down to pick them up, she saw it. A cheap, black burner phone taped to the underside of the desk drawer had come loose. Curiosity had been her first mistake. She peeled it off, thinking maybe James was having an affair. That would have been painful. That would have been heartbreaking. But what she found was so much worse than another woman. There were only 3 messages in the history. Asterisk sent to contact him. Asterisk she's free this weekend. Cabin. Make it look like a break-in gone wrong. Asterisk received from asterisk. Price is $50K. Half now, half when it's done. Asterisk sent to contact him. Asterisk done. Transfer sent. Don't miss. Olivia had stood there in the silent office, her world tilting on its axis. She took photos of the messages with her own phone, put the burner back exactly where she found it, and walked out of the house. She sat in her car for an hour, just breathing, trying to understand how the man she shared a bed with, the man she laughed with over morning coffee, wanted her dead. Now, standing in the kitchen watching him pour the wine, she realized the investors he was meeting tonight weren't real. He was probably finalizing the details with them. "Here you go, babe," James said, handing her the glass. "You look tense. Rough day at the firm." Olivia took the glass. She wanted to smash it against the wall. She wanted to scream in his face. Instead she took a sip. Just the usual. "The zoning permits for the River North project are a nightmare. My head is pounding." "You work too hard," James said, moving behind her to rub her shoulders. His thumbs dug into her muscles. It used to feel comforting. Now it felt like he was testing the strength of her neck. "You need a break." Actually, I was thinking. Here it comes, Olivia thought. Trap. I was thinking we should head up to the lake house this weekend, James said softly, close to her ear. Just the two of us. No phones, no work. Just relax by the fire. It's supposed to be chilly, perfect weather for it. The lake house. It was an isolated cabin in Wisconsin, miles from the nearest neighbor. It was beautiful, private, and completely defenseless. The perfect place for a break-in gone wrong. Olivia turned in his arms, looking up into his blue eyes. They look so innocent. That sounds amazing, James. I'd love that. Great, he smiled, and for a second, she saw a flicker of something else in his eyes. Relief? Anticipation. I'll take care of everything. You just pack a bag. I will, Olivia said. I'm gonna go take a bath. I really need to decompress. Go ahead. I'll order some Thai food, James said, turning back to the wine bottle. Olivia walked to the master bathroom, locked the door, and turned on the shower water as loud as it would go. Then she sat on the edge of the tub and dialed a number she had memorized yesterday. This is Michael, a gruff voice answered on the second ring. He made the move, Olivia whispered, clutching the phone. He suggested the lake house for this weekend. Michael was a private investigator Olivia had hired immediately after finding the burner phone. He wasn't a fancy corporate investigator like the one she used for her business background checks. Michael was ex-Chicago PD, a guy who operated out of a small office above a bakery in Wicker Park. He was rough around the edges, expensive and discreet. Standard play, Michael said. His voice was calm, which helped settle Olivia's racing heart. Isolation. Control. Did you get the audio I asked for? Yes, Olivia said. I put the voice recorder in his car this morning. I haven't had a chance to retrieve it yet. Okay. Don't risk it if he's watching you, Michael warned. I did some digging on the number from the burner phone. It's a ghost, but I traced the crypto transfer James made. He's sloppy, Olivia. He used a mixing service, but he initiated it from the Wi-Fi in your own house. Amateur hour. Who is them? Olivia asked. I'm working on it. I have a contact in the precinct who tracks contract hits. But listen to me, Olivia. You cannot go to that cabin alone with him. I have to, Olivia said, her voice hardening. If I don't go, he'll get suspicious. He'll panic. He might try something here, or worse, he might run away. I don't just want to survive, Michael. I want to bury him. Olivia, this isn't a board meeting, Michael snapped. This is your life. These guys don't play by rules. Neither do I, Olivia said. Not anymore. I need you to be there. Can you get a team to the lake house before we arrive? There was a pause on the line. It's gonna cost you triple. I don't care about the money, Olivia hissed. I want him caught in the act. I want the look on his face recorded when he realizes he lost. Can you do it? Yeah, Michael said. I can do it. But you have to play your part perfectly. If he senses you know, you're dead before you hit the state line. I'm a real estate agent, Michael, Olivia said, standing up and looking at herself in the mirror. Her eyes were red, but her jaw was set like stone. I sell dreams for a living. Acting like everything is perfect is what I do best. She hung up and deleted the call log. Then she stripped off her clothes and stepped into the hot water, letting it burn her skin. She needed to wash away the fear. Tonight, she had to sleep next to the man who wanted to kill her. She had to let him hold her. She had to let him think he had won. The next 2 days were a blur of agonizing normalcy. Olivia went to the office, signed papers, and smiled at her assistant Sophia. You look great, Mrs. Bennett. Sophia chirped. Are you doing something new with your hair? Just happy about the weekend, Olivia lied smoothly. James and I are taking a little getaway. Ah, that's so sweet. You guys are literally couple goals, Sophia sighed. Couple goals. The phrase made Olivia want to laugh hysterically. If only Sophia knew that couple goals involved plotting a murder and a countersting operation. On Thursday afternoon, Michael texted her a location. an address for a coffee shop in a quiet neighborhood. Olivia told her office she had a site visit and drove there. Michael was sitting in a back booth, wearing a faded leather jacket and a baseball cap. He slid a manila envelope across the table as soon as she sat down. "Don't open it here," he muttered. "But you need to know who you're dealing with." "Tell me," Olivia said, keeping her hands on her lap. "The guy's name is Mason. He's not a top-tier professional, which is actually more dangerous. Pros are predictable. Hacks like Mason are desperate. He's got a rap sheet a mile long for assault and armed robbery, but he's never been pinned for a hit. He usually works as muscle for loan sharks." "So James hired a thug," Olivia said, disgust coloring her tone. "James hired the cheapest option he could find," Michael corrected. "He paid $25 up front. The other $25 is due on completion. Here's the scary part. Mason isn't going alone. He was spotted meeting with a second guy. Driver. That means 2 targets at the cabin plus James." Olivia felt a cold sweat break out on her forehead. "2 of them. Plus my husband. That's why I'm bringing backup," Michael said. "I've got 2 guys ex-military. We'll be in the woods surrounding the property. We'll have eyes on the house, thermal and night vision. We'll wire the living room before you get there." "How?" "You gave me the spare key code, remember?" Michael smirked slightly. "We'll be in and out before you pull into the driveway." "But Olivia, listen to me. Once the action starts, it's gonna be fast. You need a safe word. If you say it, we breach the doors immediately, whether we have the evidence or not." "The safe word is contract," Olivia said instantly. "It fits in casual conversation." "Good. Contract. If you feel unsafe, if James looks at you wrong, if you see a shadow in the window, you say it loud." Olivia nodded. "What about the police?" "We call them once the trap is sprung. If we call them now, all they have is a text message on a burner phone James can claim isn't his. We need him to let Mason in. We need the intent." "Okay," Olivia whispered. "Okay. One more thing," Michael said, his eyes narrowing. "Why is he doing this? I mean, really. You're rich, you take care of him. Why kill the golden goose?" Olivia looked down at the scratched table. "Because I stopped the golden eggs. Last month, he asked for $500,000 for a tech incubator project. I told him no. I told him I was cutting off his allowance and putting him on a budget. I told him it was time to grow up." Michael nodded slowly. "So ego and greed. The classic combo. He thinks if you die, he gets everything without having to ask permission." "He thinks I'm stupid," Olivia said, raising her head. Her eyes were dry. "He thinks I'm just a checkbook." "Prove him wrong," Michael said. Friday morning arrived with a gray, overcast sky. It was raining lightly as James loaded the trunk of their Range Rover. He was whistling. He actually whistled while he packed the bags of the woman he planned to murder. Olivia stood by the front door, checking her purse. Inside she had a small can of pepper spray, Michael had insisted, and her phone fully charged with the tracking app running in the background. "Ready to hit the road?" James asked, slamming the trunk shut. He looked energized, like a man heading to a party. "Ready," Olivia said. She walked down the steps and got into the passenger seat. The drive to Wisconsin took 3 hours. Usually they would listen to podcasts or talk about their week. Today James talked nonstop about the future. "You know, after this weekend I think things are gonna change for us," James said, gripping the steering wheel. "I feel like we're turning a page. I've been stressed, you've been stressed. We just need a reset." "A reset," Olivia repeated, looking out the window at the passing cornfields. "Is that what you call it?" "Yeah," James glanced at her. "Why? What would you call it?" "A new beginning," Olivia said carefully. "End of an era." James smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Exactly. End of an era." They arrived at the cabin around 4 p.m. It was a stunning A-frame structure nestled deep in the pines, overlooking a dark, choppy lake. There were no other houses in sight. The silence of the woods was heavy, broken only by the sound of the wind in the trees. As they pulled into the gravel driveway, Olivia's heart hammered against her ribs. She scanned the tree line. She couldn't see anything. No sign of Michael or his team. They were good. "Home sweet home," James announced. He turned off the engine. The sudden quiet was deafening. "I'll grab the groceries," Olivia said quickly, opening her door. She needed to move. She needed to keep busy. "I'll get the bags," James said. They walked into the cabin. It was cold inside. The air smelled of pine wood and dust. James immediately went to the thermostat to crank up the heat, then busied himself building a fire in the massive stone fireplace. Olivia unpacked the food in the kitchen. Her hands shook as she placed a carton of milk in the fridge. She glanced at the digital clock on the microwave. 4:15 p.m. According to the text messages Michael had intercepted earlier that day, Mason was scheduled to arrive at 8 p.m. 4 hours. 4 hours of waiting. "Wine?" James asked from the living room. "Sure," Olivia called back. She took a deep breath. "No time." She walked into the living room and sat on the plush leather sofa. James handed her a glass and sat close to her. Too close. "Cheers," he said, clinking his glass against hers. "To us." "To us," Olivia echoed. He took a sip. Tasted like ash. "You know, Liv," James started, staring into the growing flames of the fire. "I know I haven't been the easiest husband lately. I know I've asked for a lot. We have our ups and downs," Olivia said neutrally. "I just want you to know that I appreciate everything you've done for me. Really." He turned to look at her, and for a split second Olivia saw genuine sadness in his face. Was he regretting it? Was there a part of him that hesitated? "I love you, James," she tested him. "Do you love me?" James blinked. The sadness vanished, replaced by a flat, cold wall. "Of course I do, babe. More than anything." He was lying. He didn't love her. He loved the lifestyle she provided. And now that the lifestyle came with boundaries, he was discarding her. The hours dragged by. They played a game of Scrabble. They ate sandwiches. Outside, the sun went down, plunging the woods into pitch-black darkness. At 7:30 p.m., James stood up. "I'm gonna go check the shed out back. I think the generator light was blinking when we pulled in. Don't want the power to cut out on us." Olivia knew exactly what he was doing. He was unlocking the back door. Or maybe he was leaving a signal for Mason. "Okay," she said. "Don't be long." As soon as the back door closed behind him, Olivia stood up. She walked to the center of the room, speaking clearly to the empty air. "Michael, are you there?" Her phone buzzed in her pocket. Text message. *, we hear you. We see him. He unlocked the back gate and left it open. He's coming back inside. They come. Targets are 2 miles out. *. Olivia sat back down. Her heart was beating so hard she thought James would hear it when he walked back in. James returned 5 minutes later, brushing snow off his shoulders. It had started to flurry. "All good. Just a loose sensor." He sat back down, but he was restless now. He kept checking his watch. He tapped his foot. "Is everything okay?" Olivia asked. "You seem jittery." "Just too much coffee today," James gave a tight laugh. "Hey, why don't you go put on some music? Maybe that jazz playlist you like." He wanted to mask the sound of the entry. "Sure," Olivia said. She stood up and walked over to the Bluetooth speaker system. As she fiddled with her phone, she saw headlights sweep across the front window. They were here. James jumped up. "Who is that? Did we order something?" The acting was terrible. "I didn't order anything," Olivia said, stepping back toward the fireplace, grabbing the heavy iron poker. "Maybe they're lost." "I'll go check," James said. He walked to the front door. "James, wait," Olivia said, feigning fear. "Don't just open it." "It's fine, Olivia. Relax." James unlocked the deadbolt and swung the door open. 2 men stood there. They were wearing ski masks and dark clothes. One of them, Mason, was holding a short silver pistol. "Get back!" Mason shouted, shoving James. James stumbled back, putting his hands up in a mockery of surrender. "Whoa, okay. Take whatever you want. Just don't hurt us." He was stepping aside, clearing the path to Olivia. The second man, the driver, stepped inside and kicked the door shut. "Phones. On the floor. Now." Olivia dropped her phone. She backed up until her legs hit the sofa. She gripped the fire poker behind her back. "Please," James pleaded, his voice trembling with fake terror. "My wallet is on the counter. Take it. My wife has jewelry. Just take it and go." Mason laughed. It was a cruel, dry sound. He looked at James, then he looked at Olivia. He raised the gun, pointing it directly at her chest. "We aren't here for the jewelry, lady," Mason said. Time seemed to freeze. Olivia looked at James. He wasn't looking at her. He was looking at the floor, waiting for the bang. Waiting for his freedom. "James," Olivia said softly. "Do something." I can't," James stammered. "They have a gun, Olivia." Mason cocked the pistol. "Say goodbye, sweetheart." Olivia took a breath. She looked Mason dead in the eye. She didn't scream. She didn't beg. She smiled. "Contract," she said clearly. James's head snapped up. "What?" Crash. The large picture window behind the sofa shattered inward in an explosion of glass. 2 flashbang grenades rolled across the floor. Bang. Bang. A blinding white light filled the room, followed by a deafening ringing sound. "Police! Get down! Get on the ground!" The front door burst open as Michael and his team stormed in. Assault rifles raised, tactical lights cutting through the smoke. Mason shouted in confusion, firing a wild shot into the ceiling before a tackle from the side sent him flying into the wall. The driver tried to run for the back door but was met by a taser shot that dropped him instantly, convulsing on the rug. James was standing in the middle of the chaos, his hands over his ears, his mouth open in absolute shock. He looked at the tactical team, then he looked at Olivia. Olivia hadn't moved. She stood amidst the broken glass, the fire poker still in her hand, watching the smoke clear. Michael stepped forward, kicking Mason's gun away and zip-tying his hands behind his back. He looked up at Olivia and nodded. "Clear. You okay?" "I'm fine," Olivia said. Her voice was like ice. The room fell silent, save for the groans of the hitmen on the floor. James slowly lowered his hands. He looked at the armed men, then at his wife. His face was pale, drained of all blood. "Liv," he squeaked. What is this?" "Thank God they came. Did you call them?" He was still trying to play the role. It was pathetic. Olivia walked toward him. She stepped over the shattered glass, the sound crunching under her boots. She stopped inches from his face. "No, James," she said calmly. "I didn't call them just now. I hired them 3 days ago." James's eyes widened. "What? I don't understand." "I found the phone, James," Olivia whispered. "I saw the messages. I know about the $50,000. I know about the break-in. I know everything." James tried to speak, but no words came out. He started to shake. "No, Liv, baby, listen. It's a misunderstanding." "Michael," Olivia said, never taking her eyes off her husband. "Show him." Michael pulled a digital recorder from his pocket and pressed play. James's voice filled the room, clear and undeniable. Asterisk, she's free this weekend. Cabin. Make it look like a break-in gone wrong. Asterisk. James collapsed to his knees. He started to sob, reaching out for Olivia's leg. "I'm sorry. I was confused. I owe money to bad people, Liv. They forced me." "Liar," Olivia said. She stepped back out of his reach. "You didn't do this because you were scared. You did this because you're greedy and weak." "Get him up," Michael ordered. 2 agents hauled James to his feet, cuffing his hands behind his back. Olivia! Don't let them take me! James screamed as they dragged him toward the door. I'm your husband. I love you. You loved my money, Olivia said. And now, you're going to pay for it with the rest of your life. As the sirens of the actual police cars began to wail in the distance, signaling their arrival to pick up the trash Michael had collected, Olivia felt a strange sensation. She wasn't happy. Not yet. But she was alive. She watched them drag James out into the snow. The nightmare was over. Or so she thought. As Michael walked past Mason, the hitman who was currently bleeding from his nose, the thug looked up at Olivia and laughed. It was a wet, gurgling sound. You think he's the boss? Mason spat blood onto the floor. You think pretty boy James has the brains to set this up? Michael stopped. He grabbed Mason by the collar. What did you say? Mason grinned, his teeth red. James is just the wallet. He didn't hire me directly. He went through the broker. And the broker? He doesn't like loose ends. Olivia felt a chill that had nothing to do with the broken window. Who is the broker? You'll find out, Mason sneered. Because if I don't kill you, he will. You just started a war, lady. Michael looked at Olivia. His face was grim. We need to move. Now. Olivia looked out into the dark woods. The police lights were flashing blue and red against the trees, but suddenly, the forest didn't feel safe anymore. James was just a pawn. The real player was still out there. And he was angry. The flashing blue and red lights of the police cruisers painted the snowy woods in a chaotic, dizzying rhythm. Olivia stood by the shattered window of the cabin, wrapped in a thick wool blanket that Michael had thrown over her shoulders, but she couldn't stop shivering. It wasn't the cold. It was the adrenaline crashing out of her system, leaving behind a hollow, aching void. She watched as two officers shoved James into the back of a squad car. He looked small. The man who had strutted around their penthouse like a king, the man who had toasted to their new beginning just hours ago, was now hunched over, weeping like a child. He didn't look at her. He couldn't. Olivia! Michael's voice broke through the haze. He was standing right next to her, his face grim. We need to go. Now. The police need a statement, Olivia said, her voice sounding distant to her own ears. I've already spoken to the lead detective, Johnson. He knows the situation. You'll give a formal statement tomorrow morning at the station with your lawyer present, Michael said, guiding her toward his nondescript black SUV parked behind the police line. Right now you are not safe here. Did you hear what that guy Mason said? The broker, Olivia whispered. Exactly. Michael opened the car door for her. James was the client, but he didn't set this up. He doesn't have the connections to find a guy like Mason. Someone connected them. Someone facilitated the deal. And if that person knows the hit failed, they're going to be cleaning up loose ends. You are a loose end. Olivia climbed into the warm car. As they pulled away, driving past the police barricade, she caught one last glimpse of James in the back of the cruiser. He looked up, his eyes meeting hers through the glass. There was no love there anymore. Just terror. The drive back to Chicago was silent and tense. Michael drove fast, constantly checking his rearview mirror. Olivia stared out at the darkness, her mind racing. Who could it be? James was lazy. He wasn't a criminal mastermind. He was a man who liked easy money and expensive toys. Who did he know that could arrange a contract killing? I'm taking you to a hotel, Michael said as the city skyline appeared on the horizon, glowing gold and orange against the night sky. Not your usual spots. Place near O'Hare. Cash only, no paper trail. I have to go home, Olivia argued weakly. I need my things. Your house is a crime scene, Michael snapped. And it's the first place they'll look. You need to understand, Olivia, until we find this broker. You are a ghost. You don't exist. They checked into a generic mid-range hotel under the name Emma Smith. The room smelled of lemon cleaner and stale cigarettes. Michael swept the room for bugs, checked the windows, and then double-locked the door. Get some sleep, he told her, sitting in the armchair by the door with his gun resting on his lap. "I'll take the first watch." Olivia didn't think she could sleep, but exhaustion pulled her under. She dreamed of glass shattering and James laughing, a laugh that sounded like crunching snow. She woke up to the sound of Michael talking low on his phone. Sunlight was streaming through the cheap curtains. "Yeah, got it. Thanks." Michael hung up and looked at her. "James is in holding at the precinct downtown. He's been crying for a lawyer, but he also asked for you." "Me?" Olivia sat up, rubbing her face. "Why would he think I'd come?" "Because he's scared," Michael said. "He knows he's going down for conspiracy to commit murder, which is 20 years to life. But he also knows something we don't. The guys inside, the other prisoners, they know who he is. Word travels fast. If he talked to a powerful broker, he might be in danger inside too." "I need to talk to him," Olivia said, throwing the covers off. "Bad idea," Michael shook his head. "It's the only idea," Olivia countered, her corporate voice returning. "James is a coward. If he thinks I can help him, or if he thinks I'm going to let him rot, he'll talk. He'll give me a name. I need to look him in the eye." Michael sighed, standing up and holstering his weapon. "Fine. But we do it on my terms. And we don't stay long." The police precinct was a fortress of concrete and noise. Detective Johnson, a weary-looking man with graying hair and coffee stains on his tie, met them in the lobby. "Mrs. Bennett," Johnson nodded respectfully. "I'm glad you're okay. Your husband, he's been quite vocal this morning." "Can I see him?" Olivia asked. "We can give you 5 minutes in the visitation room. Glass partition. Everything is recorded," Johnson said. "But I have to warn you, he's desperate. He's trying to cut a deal." "Let him try," Olivia said coldly. She walked into the small, sterile room. James was already there, sitting on the other side of the thick glass. He was wearing an orange jumpsuit that was too big for him. His hair was messy, his face pale and unshaven. When he saw her, he practically threw himself against the glass. "Liv. Oh God, Liv." James sobbed. "You have to help me. You have to get me a lawyer. Not the public defender, I need William." "Get William." Olivia sat down slowly, placing her hands on the metal counter. She looked at him with a mixture of pity and disgust. "William, our estate attorney. James, you tried to have me murdered. William isn't going to represent you. He's probably drafting the divorce papers for me right now." "No, you don't understand," James hissed, lowering his voice and looking around nervously. "It wasn't supposed to go like this. I didn't want to hurt you, Liv, I swear. I needed the money fast." "Stop lying," Olivia said sharply. "I heard the recording. You sent $50,000 to a killer. You told them to make it look like a break-in. You wanted me dead so you could cash out." "Because I had no choice," James screamed, tears streaming down his face. "I messed up, Liv. The crypto thing. It wasn't just bad investments. I stole money. A lot of money." Olivia frowned. "Stole money? From who?" James swallowed hard. "From the firm. From your company accounts. I had access, remember? You gave me the passwords for the joint ventures." Olivia felt a chill run down her spine. She had trusted him with some of the secondary accounts, yes. "How much, James?" $2 million, James whispered. Olivia stared at him. $2 million. "And you lost it." "I tried to double it," James pleaded. "I met this guy. He said he had a sure thing. But it was a scam. All of it gone. And then the audit was coming up. You said you were going to audit the books next month. If you saw the missing money, you would have divorced me. You would have sent me to jail. So killing me was the better option." Olivia asked, her voice trembling with rage. "I was panicked," James cried. "I went to William for help. I told him everything. I told him I was in a hole I couldn't get out of." Olivia froze. "You told William? William Davis. William Davis was not just their lawyer. He was Olivia's godfather. He had been her father's best friend. He had walked her down the aisle when she married James. He was the grandfather figure to the children she hoped to have one day. Yeah, James nodded frantically. I went to his office. I was crying. I told him I was going to lose you, lose the money, lose everything. I thought he would help me fix the books. And what did William say? Olivia asked softly. James looked down at his hands. He said there was no fixing it. He said you were too smart, that you would find the theft eventually. He said the only way to keep the money and stay out of prison was if the person doing the audit wasn't around anymore. The room spun. Olivia gripped the edge of the counter to keep from falling off her chair. William suggested it. He didn't just suggest it, James whispered, his eyes wide with fear. He set it up. He gave me the number for the burner phone. He told me what to text. He told me about Mason. He said he knew people who handled problems like this. He fronted me the cash for the hit, Liv. He gave me the 50 grand. Olivia felt like she had been punched in the gut. William, the man who brought her birthday presents every year. The man who advised her on every major business deal. Why? Olivia breathed. Why would William want me dead? He has plenty of money. I don't know, James wailed. Maybe he's into something bad too. All I know is that he said if I went down, I better keep my mouth shut or he'd finish the job himself. Liv, please. You have to get me protection. If William finds out I talked, I'm dead in here. He knows everyone. Olivia stood up. He felt sick. You deserve whatever happens to you, James. Liv. Wait. Don't leave me. James screamed as she turned her back on him. Olivia walked out of the room, past the guards, and into the hallway where Michael was waiting. She leaned against the wall, gasping for air. What is it? Michael asked, stepping close to shield her. Did he give you a name? William, Olivia choked out. William Davis. Michael's eyes widened. The high-profile attorney. The guy on the billboards. He's my godfather, Olivia said, tears finally spilling over. He orchestrated the whole thing. James was just the puppet. William pulled the strings. Okay, Michael said, his voice low and dangerous. That changes everything. If a guy like William Davis is the broker, then this goes way deeper than a domestic dispute. He's got power. He's got connections to judges, cops, politicians. He's been handling my company's legal affairs for 10 years, Olivia realized, horror washing over her. If he was willing to kill me to stop an audit, it means James stealing $2 million was just the tip of the iceberg. William must be stealing much, much more. We need proof, Michael said. James's word is garbage. A jury won't believe a desperate husband trying to pin his crime on a respected lawyer. We need hard evidence. His office, Olivia said, her eyes hardening. William keeps everything. He's old school. He has a private server in his office, but he also keeps physical ledgers. He always bragged about it, said the cloud couldn't be trusted. Breaking into a law firm in downtown Chicago isn't exactly a walk in the park, Michael warned. I don't have to break in, Olivia said, straightening her coat. I'm his biggest client. I have a standing appointment on Mondays. Today is Monday. Olivia, that is suicide. Michael grabbed her arm. If he knows the hit failed, and he definitely knows by now, he'll be expecting you. He thinks I'm a scared, grieving widow right now, Olivia said, her mind working fast. Or he thinks I'm confused. He doesn't know James talked. He doesn't know I know. It's too risky. I'm going, Olivia said firmly. But I need you to be my insurance. Can you hack his security system from the outside? Michael hesitated, then smirked. I know a guy who can get me into the camera feed. But if things go south, I'm coming in and I'm not knocking. Deal, Olivia said. Let's go catch a monster. An hour later, Olivia stood in the elevator of the Davis & Associates glass skyscraper. She was wearing a fresh suit she had bought at a boutique on the way. Her hair pulled back in a severe bun. She wore large dark sunglasses to hide her swollen eyes. She checked her phone. A text from Michael. Asterisk, I'm in the lobby. Audio link is live. I can hear everything you say. Asterisk. Olivia tapped her earpiece. A tiny Bluetooth bud hidden under her hair. Copy that. The elevator doors opened on the 40th floor. The reception area was pure luxury. Marble floors, modern art, and a view of the entire city. The receptionist, a young woman named Sarah, looked up and gasped. Mrs. Bennett. Oh my goodness. Sarah rushed around the desk. We heard the news about the incident at the cabin. I'm so sorry. We didn't expect you to come in. I need to see William, Olivia said, her voice trembling just enough to be convincing. I don't know where else to go. James has gone crazy. I need William's help. Of course, Sarah said sympathetically. He's in a meeting, but for you I'm sure he'll cancel it. Go right back. Olivia walked down the long hallway lined with mahogany doors. Her heart was pounding against her ribs like a trapped bird. Every step took her closer to the man who had paid for her death. She reached the double doors at the end of the hall. She didn't knock. She pushed them open. William Davis was sitting behind his massive oak desk, staring out the window. He turned around as she entered. He was a distinguished-looking man in his 60s, with silver hair and a grandfatherly smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. Olivia, William said, standing up and opening his arms. My dear child. I was just about to call you. I heard about the terrible business with James. Are you all right? It took every ounce of Olivia's self-control not to scream. She walked into his embrace, letting him hug her. He smelled of expensive cologne and peppermint. It was the smell of her childhood. It made her sick. I'm terrified, William. Olivia sobbed into his shoulder, playing the part. James. He tried to have me killed. The police took him away. Shoo, William patted her back. I know. Shocking. I never trusted that boy. I always knew he was after your money. He said someone helped him. Olivia pulled back, looking into William's eyes. She watched his pupils closely. He said he had a partner. William's face didn't twitch. He was a professional liar. A partner. James is a fool, Olivia. He probably got mixed up with some street gangs. Don't worry about that. I'll handle the legal side. We'll make sure he never sees the light of day. Thank you, William, Olivia said, wiping her eyes. I needed to check the trust documents. James said he stole money. I need to know if the foundation is safe. Now isn't the time for paperwork, Olivia, William said soothingly, guiding her toward a leather chair. You're in shock. You should go home, rest. I'll have my team audit everything. No, Olivia said, her voice hardening slightly. I need to see it. For my peace of mind. William paused. He really looked at her. The grandfatherly mask slipped for just a fraction of a second, revealing something cold and calculating underneath. You're very persistent today, Olivia, he said slowly. It's my money, William, she said. Very well, William sighed. He walked over to a painting on the wall, a generic landscape. He swung it open to reveal a wall safe. If it will calm your nerves, I'll pull the file. Olivia watched him. Michael's voice crackled in her ear. Asterisk, he's stalling. He's texting someone under the desk. Olivia, get out of there. Asterisk. Just a moment, William said, his back to her as he fiddled with the safe dial. Olivia looked at his desk. His phone was lying face up. A message notification flashed on the screen. Sender, Cleaner 1. Asterisk message. Target is in your office. On my way up, asterisk. Olivia's blood froze. It wasn't a meeting. It was an execution. Actually, William, Olivia said, standing up. I think I left my ID at the reception. Let me go grab it. William turned around fast. The safe was open, but he wasn't holding files. He was holding a small, silver revolver. Sit down, Olivia, William said. His voice was no longer kind. It was the voice of a man who had ordered deaths before. Olivia froze. William. I'm sorry it has to be this way, William said, aiming the gun at her. I really am. I loved your father. But you're just too good at your job. You were digging too deep into the River North project. If you found the laundering scheme, I would have lost everything. James was supposed to solve this quietly. You stole from me, Olivia said, staring at the gun. For years. I took what I deserved. William snapped. I built your father's empire. I cleaned up his messes. And you just inherited it. You didn't earn it. Put the gun down, William, Olivia said, raising her hands. The receptionist knows I'm here. Sarah went on her lunch break. William smiled tightly. The floor is empty. My associate is coming up the service elevator to help me remove your body. We'll say you were distraught over James and jumped from the window. A tragic suicide. Michael now. Olivia screamed. The heavy oak door exploded inward. William spun around, distracted. Olivia didn't hesitate. She lunged across the desk, grabbing a heavy crystal paperweight and swinging it with all her might. Clack. The crystal connected with William's wrist. He shouted in pain and dropped the gun. It skittered across the marble floor. Olivia scrambled back as William roared in rage, lunging at her. He was old, but he was big and fueled by desperation. His hands closed around her throat, squeezing tight. You ungrateful brat, he spat, his face turning purple. Olivia clawed at his eyes, kicking out. She couldn't breathe. Black spots danced in her vision. Then a dark blur tackled William off her. Michael slammed William into the bookshelf, sending law books tumbling everywhere. He delivered 2 swift punches to William's gut, doubling the older man over, then swept his legs out from under him. William hit the floor with a heavy thud. Michael had his gun drawn, pointed at William's head. Stay down. Don't move. Olivia coughed, gasping for air, rubbing her bruised neck. She looked at the man she had trusted her entire life, now lying defeated on his Persian rug. It's over, William, she rasped. William looked up, blood trickling from his lip. He started to laugh. A wheezing, dry laugh. Over. You think this is over? I'm William Davis. I have judges in my pocket. I have the mayor on speed dial. You have nothing but the word of a convicted felon husband and a cheap private eye. I'll be out on bail by dinner. Olivia walked over to the open safe. Inside, stacked neatly, were rows of black leather notebooks. She pulled one out. It was dated from 5 years ago. She opened it. It was a manual ledger of every illegal bribe, every stolen dollar, every laundered account. You said the cloud couldn't be trusted, Olivia said, holding up the book. You were right. Paper is much harder to delete. William's face went white. The arrogance vanished. Michael, Olivia said, call Detective Johnson. Tell him we found the broker. And tell him we have the receipts. No. William scrambled to get up, but Michael kicked him back down. Olivia, wait. We can make a deal. I can give you half. I have millions stashed offshore. Don't do this. Olivia looked at him with cold, dead eyes. I don't want your money, William. Have my own. What I want is to see you in an orange jumpsuit that matches James's. Just then, the service elevator dinged in the hallway. That's the cleaner, Michael warned, swinging his aim toward the door. Get behind the desk, Olivia. The door burst open. A man in a maintenance uniform stepped in, holding a silenced pistol. He saw Michael and hesitated. That hesitation cost him. Michael fired. One shot. It hit the man in the shoulder, spinning him around. The gun flew out of his hand. Police are 2 minutes out. Michael shouted. Stay down. The cleaner groaned, clutching his shoulder. William stared at the ceiling, defeated. Olivia sat in the high-backed leather chair, William's chair. She looked at the ledger in her hands. It was heavy. It was the weight of 10 years of lies. She picked up William's desk phone and dialed a number. "Who are you calling?" Michael asked, keeping his gun trained on the two men. "My new lawyer," Olivia said. "I need to start the process of seizing Davis and Associates. If he used my money to build this firm, then technically I own it." She looked at William. "I'm going to take everything, William. The firm. The building. The house in the Hamptons. The yacht. I'm going to strip you down to nothing, just like you tried to do to me." William closed his eyes. A single tear leaked out. The sirens wailed below, getting louder. Olivia spun the chair around to look out the window at the city she helped build. She was bruised. She was exhausted. Her husband was a criminal, and her godfather was a monster. But she was alive. And for the first time in a long time she felt powerful. Not because of her money, but because she had walked through the fire and come out the other side carrying a bucket of water. "Michael?" she asked, not turning around. "Yeah, boss. When the police get here, make sure they treat Mr. Davis with the utmost respect," she said with a sharp smile. "I want him healthy enough to stand trial. I want him to hear every single charge read out loud." "You got it," Michael grinned. The door opened, and Detective Johnson rushed in with a SWAT team. "Police. Hands in the air." Olivia stood up, smoothed her skirt, and handed the ledger to the detective. "Detective Johnson, I believe you're looking for this. And for him." She pointed a manicured finger at William. As they cuffed William and dragged him out, he didn't look at her. He looked like a ghost. Olivia walked out of the office, stepping over the broken crystal paperweight. She walked into the elevator. Michael followed her. "So," Michael said as the doors closed. "What now?" "You go to the Hamptons. Take a vacation." Olivia adjusted her sunglasses. "No, I have a board meeting on Wednesday, and I need to interview for a new estate attorney. Do you know anyone honest?" Michael laughed. "In this city? Good luck." "Then I'll find one," Olivia said. "Or I'll build one." She stepped out into the lobby, the sun shining brightly through the glass. It was a new day. James was gone. William was gone. The threats were neutralized. Olivia Bennett walked out onto the busy Chicago street. She took a deep breath of the cold air. Tasted like freedom. And it tasted sweet. "And they lived happily ever after," she whispered to herself, flagging down a taxi. With a big smile. She got in the cab, and as it pulled away into the traffic, she wasn't just a survivor. She was the queen of the city again. And this time, no one was ever going to take her crown. The end.